Okay, guys and gals, so got a few things to talk about. Going to start off with one thing that I'm really sick of, and it's a sickness, it's a pervasive fraud, and if it doesn't get addressed by global lawmakers, then it's gonna run fucking wild to the point whereby the whole of humanity are gonna have a mental implosion. Because even when they are seeking out to try to find any semblance of what we could consider truth, nobody will ever find it. And very often what's happening now on YouTube a great deal is that the clickbait is offering that they are going to be revealing something to you. They're going to be supplying something to you which is in the title. And when you look at the video, you watch it, you spend your life listening to the video, anticipating, well, when are they going to start talking about what they promised in the title, in the clickbait bullshit. And you know what? It doesn't manifest. And it's absolutely shocking. And I'm often speaking about Russell Brand, how on every one of his thumbs, he's got the faces like all this stupid, emotive, ridiculous faces. And then there's the caption, it's like, it's happening, it's here, it started, the end is near, and all this sort of thing. And it's kind of like, oh wow, what started, what's ending, and all that. And people click on it, and there's like, hello you fucking 7 million wonder fucking worlds, and this, that, and the other. And then it just waffles, and it's kind of like you're waiting for the, you know, what you was promised. What's started, what's happening, what's the end? And invariably it's just a continuation of the desperation of bullshit, because these people with popular YouTube channels, they have to keep feeding, because the nature of a human being at this moment in time is they are little more than fucking battery operated chickens. And there was a psychologist in the 50s called Frank Skinner, and Frank Skinner was an operant psychologist, and so he did all these operant experiments on rats and pigeons, and he was feeding the rats and pigeons stimulants like cocaine and amphetamine and things like that, to see, you know, if they can get them addicted and get them to perform tasks and this, that, and the other. And he found that he could very easily, once the reward was high and if it was potentially addictive. Well, what's happening these days is that the addiction of social media and the sensationalization of it's happening, it's here, oh, fear this and fear that and all this, well, it triggers the human emotions, and they want to know, well, what the fucking hell's happening? What should I be afraid of? Do you have the answer of the things I've been thinking about, looking for the answers for all these years? Have you got the answer, Russell Brand? No, nobody's got the answers, people. They're just leading you on. And then you've got the Russian psychologist Pavlov. And Pavlov is classically known for his experiments on dogs, where he's ringing a bell and feeding the dog. And after a while, the dog, of course, was conditioned to hearing the bell and then getting fed. So what started to happen was that when Pavlov rang the bell, the dog would salivate. His whole body would anticipate the food that he was conditioned into receiving after hearing the bell. So it was a classic example of conditioning people. And so the human being has been massively conditioned, and the vast majority don't even know it. And you know, this conditioning started in the early 1920s with the uncle of Sigmund Freud, who was a psychologist, and some newspaper mogul approached Bernard, what's his name? I don't think of his name. Edward Bernays approached him and said, can you conjure up with something which is going to get people to start smoking? And so he come up with this idea that it's going to get, you know, the best looking young single women debutantes at that time and start filming them smoking and feeling free and walking down the street liberated. You know, this sort of thing was in the time of the suffragettes, you know, women's liberation. And so, you know, women could actually, you know, smoke and not be smited, and they could actually walk in the street and smoke and, you know, say fuck the world. And so that was the beginning. And since then, of course, newspapers and media companies and all the rest of it, they've paid trillions of dollars to get psychologists on their team to work out what's the best form of advertisement to stimulate the human mind. And invariably it's fear and it's desire and all these sort of things. So then, of course, they've been selling ice creams which look like a fucking cock, and, you know, all this, and Coca-Cola where everybody's having fun because they're drinking Coca-Cola. You know, they're selling whole ideologies on the premise of these products, and, you know, it's all disgustingly deceptive and vile, and it should be actually banned. But it doesn't look like it's going to be, because the power is too great for the generation of money, and the people that run the world, the powers that be, they like generating money. So of course that's the thing. But I have this thing come up in my thumb today, and it was in relation to Elon Musk with his Nazi salute. Now look, people, the classic Nazi salute was a hand on the heart and then straight out Heil Hitler, and everybody did it. Heil Hitler, you know, it's my heart is with the Führer, the fatherland, and all that. And Musk did exactly the same as that. Hand on the heart, straight out, like that. It was a classic, no ifs and buts, Nazi salute. Now, the ADL, Anti-Defamatory League, or something that's always, you know, on the case to everybody, they're like, oh, you know, because of Elon Musk's autism, he doesn't always know how to act socially, and, you know, he did this thing and he didn't know really what he was doing. Well, Sigmund Freud would have had another handle on that. Sigmund Freud would have said, well, in the spur of the moment, without consciously thinking, the unconscious is acting out where your true heart is. And so we can't help but reflect, people. At the end of the Second World War, America, under the secrecy of Project Paperclip, gave amnesty to 2,000 Nazi scientists, all the ones that were working on the V2 rockets, and so rocket science, and you know, all the rest of that stuff. You know, Erich von Braun, you know, who was very, very well renowned. They all got top dollar, and they were completely what do you say? They had amnesty from any level of prosecution, from working for the Nazis if they went to work for America. Well, what was born out of that? NASA was born out of that. Rocket science was continued, and of course then it's you know, so-called space modules to the moon, and now to Mars. Well, where's Musk on that? Well, Musk is very, very heavily, deeply into rocket science, isn't he? So therefore Musk is working with the remnants, or the ancestors, or not the ancestors, the predecessors, the offspring of this similar sort of thing. It's all the result of what came out of the Nazis, which brought this information. And so, you know, why wouldn't Elon Musk, you know, be saluting the forefathers, the creationists of rocket science and all that, which you know, Musk is so big into. So what I would say, looking at that, okay, well look, it's nothing to do with Elon Musk's autism. He doesn't know how to act in social things, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. Well, he's supposed to be a genius, he's supposed to be brilliant, and this, that, and the other. And so anybody that's going to be doing that, I don't know. I think even the most stupid of people, you're gonna, well, you know, if you're gonna start doing the whole Heil fucking Hitler, then you're gonna have repercussions. But no, you see, so, you know, the Anti-Defamation League, you know, was you give him carte blanche. Don't worry about that. You know, it's just Elon Musk, you know, and it's easy, isn't it? If you just go, oh, Elon Musk is, you know, autism, it's on the other, you know, he's not like us, but he's a genius, and then it gives him license to get away with everything. Now, I'm not saying that Musk is an overt Nazi, but the Nazis like power. The Nazis like to dominate the world, the Nazis like to be first, and the Nazis like things very, very regimented and all the rest of it. And so, you know, the Nazis were superb businessmen, and they didn't take no for an answer, and so, whoa, sounds like Elon Musk to me. Let me just give you a picture of this. Now, this, it states this. This one here. Let me get close up on that. So it's got here, it's saying that the Simpsons had already predicted Elon Musk giving the Nazi salute. Now, the 2025 Simpsons predictions that are too crazy to ignore. So in anybody's reasonable expectation, you are going to assume that within that video there is going to be this depiction of the Simpsons depicting, prophesying Elon Musk giving the Nazi salute. But when you watch the video, there is absolutely nothing in relation to that. It just goes on to show that, you know, Trump coming down the escalator, and a bit of prediction here and a bit of prediction there, but nothing to do with that. And so, of course, that is immensely annoying. It's deceiving, it's deception on the highest level, because albeit that video was 22 minutes long, and you're thinking, well, they're going to keep the best to the end, aren't they? And they keep you going, hanging on. But in the end, it wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And so, in lots of realms, people, we have this consumer protectionism for the human being, and if a company advertises something, then they absolutely have to fucking give it. Otherwise, they can get took to court, and they can get compensation extracted from them. So I think there's something very, very amiss with all this bullshit, because I am sick and tired, and I'm at the end of my tether, and most of the time I don't fucking bother watching this fucking claptrap. It's all sensationalised fucking claptrap. They don't know fuck all, they're just shooting in the dark, and they're just desperately vying for our energy. And so what I'm always saying to you is just pick up books, and I'm telling you now, people, if you read books 100 years old or 200 years old, then you're going to get some proper information, because this shit just wasn't about them, and people were writing from the heart, and they realized when they were writing stuff, you know, they're going to get a very, very small market, but you know, they're intent on putting that stuff out there. And so the book I'm reading at this moment in time by Thomas Paine, English philosopher, and he's decrying the nonsense of the fucking Bible, saying it's absolutely bullshit, and he's quoting line and verse, and he's saying that, well, look, you know, even for instance, like the first 5 books of the Old Testament are supposed to be written by Moses, and so he shows on occasion after occasion after occasion that the books chronologically could absolutely not have been written by this man. And it's just a crock of shit. It's plain. And what he used is, he didn't use any other criteria, any other scripture. He used the Bible itself to prove the Bible wrong. And because there's so many contradictions in the Bible, he's just saying, look, here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. And, you know, so he goes through the whole Bible, just pointing out the complete hypocrisy and doublespeak and bullshit of the Bible. But at that time, you know, the church was trying to get him fucking burnt, and all different sorts of fucking stuff going on, people. But if you read stuff from these people, you know, let's say 100 years ago, or at least 50 years ago, then you'll be in good stead. If you're watching anything on YouTube, you can't believe a single word that's being fucking said. And invariably you're never going to get anything that you're promised from any of these videos. So I'm seriously, you know, I've been working up towards the end of my tether. I've been involved in YouTube for 15 years, people, and I've seen how it's massively gone downhill, and it's just becoming very, very deceptive. And it's going to implode because people are just going to think, well, I'm wasting my fucking time. I'm not wasting my time with you motherfuckers, with your clickbait and your false promises and all the rest of the thing. You think I've not got a life? You think I've not got better fucking things to do that, you know, fall flat on my face with your fucking promises, and you think I'm not going to get angry about that? Well, you know, the thing is, people, is to boycott these motherfuckers. For instance, like when we listen to Alex Jones, clickbait, oh, this, that and the other, and then he rambles, and he fucking rambles for 3 hours, and he goes to a break, and then he's coming back, and then he's rah, 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 rah. And it's like, well, where's that thing that you told us you were going to talk about? And invariably it isn't in there, and if it is in there, then it's very weak, and it doesn't amount to anything, just fucking speculation. Honestly, people, there's very, very few YouTubers these days that I have any respect for. The person I have the greatest respect for is David Icke. David Icke doesn't do no sensationalizing. He doesn't offer you false fucking promises. Whatever he's got to say, he addresses the issues and he backs it up with fucking documentation and, you know, fucking video clips and news clips and all the rest of it. And you know, I have never got my head around why people have an issue with David Icke. I can't fault him, and I'm a very rational, fucking clinical thinking person, and I've never ever known him to talk bullshit about anything. And even if we go back to the early days when he's talking about the Queen of England is a fucking lizard, well, it's a metaphor because of her cold-heartedness, and the whole fucking, you know, royal family, they're a machine. They're not a family of human beings, they're a machine, and they've got a job to do, and everything's about the job. You know, it's nothing, there's no humanism in there at all. There's no heart, and this is why Princess Diana, she had to get the fuck out of there. Even she said they're a bunch of fucking lizards. And, you know, I wouldn't have thought she ever even listened to David Icke, but what she was inferring that they're cold-hearted motherfuckers. They've got cold blood running through their fucking veins. And so Diana was a very, very warm, hearty, caring person, wasn't she? But she couldn't fucking feel any of that within the royal family. Just a fucking cold machine, people. So the lizard thing, you know, has a lot to be said for it. And then in relation to shapeshifters and archons and all this, well, the whole world's been speaking about these things for a long, long time. All over the world. There's folklore and there's carvings and there's scripture written about those that came to the fucking earth and came out of the sea and this, that and the other. And so David Icke, faultless in my estimation. And if any of you have got a problem, then write to me and tell me what your problem is, and then make sure you can fucking back it up. But invariably people can't back it up because people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Very, very few people know what the fucking hell they're talking about. And every time, you know, I read a comment and this, that and the other, it's kind of, oh my goodness, where do I begin? Where do I fucking begin? So anyway, I'm going to be reading a comment from a regular viewer, a long-term viewer, and I'm not going to be ripping him a new arsehole, but I'm just going to be pointing out what I see in the comment. And the comment is from the video Things Nobody Should Ever Talk About, and the viewer is Adam Cadmon. Adam Cadmon, that's the first human being, people, as in Adam from Adam and Eve. Now, in relation to the video where I was speaking about things nobody should ever talk about, if you haven't watched it and you want to make sense of this video, then you need to watch it. But for those of you that have watched it and can fucking remember a few words of it, then this is what Adam says. He says, "Hi Aaron, not finished the vid yet, but did find it interesting how you mention someone not having any friends and then not knowing why. And you laughing, saying it's because of their childhood and how they act. But when you yourself tell us you have no friends, none of your family is close to you or like you much, bemoan the average person, but say it's their fault, in this case, and reason that it's because they're stupid or inauthentic or evil or not really kind but pretend, etc. Yada da da da. It's like you went alter ego and started to interrogate and detach part of yourself. Trippy dude, lol. Now, this is the thing, what people hear, and then they think that something was said. Or something was inferred. Now, what I was saying is in relation to, I started to speak about a scenario of someone that went to see a psychologist and said, like, you know, I've got problems and, you know, I don't have any friends and this, that and the other. And the psychologist say, well, why do you think that is? And then the analysand saying, no, you don't know. Well, let's start with your childhood. So I said, let's start with your childhood. But this person is inferring that it's because of their childhood. Well, I mean, it may be because of events that happened in their childhood, but I'm not saying it's because of their childhood. And so then you go on to take that inference and you say, well, you know, because you yourself tell us that you have no friends, none of your family is close or like you much. Well, it isn't them that don't like me, it's me that can't be fucking doing with them. So when have you ever heard me tell you that my families don't like me? Now, I'm telling you from my perspective that they're fucking idiots, and I don't want to spend and waste my time with them. You know, and because of my saying that they're idiots and fucking blanking them, well, it doesn't affect my sister. She still texts me to this fucking day, telling me that she loves me, and I'm like, oh, for goodness sake, you know, when's it going to end? But my elder brother, you know, is indifferent unless I'm talking about him. If I went round there tomorrow, he'd welcome me in and he'd talk about himself all the time. And if I started to talk about anything relating, anything else except him, then he'd very quickly get bored. And so it's not like he dislikes me, he dislikes anything which isn't him. And so, you know, people getting carried away with themselves and inferring so many things. And so it continues that I bemoan the average person, but say it's their fault in this case, and reason that it's because they're stupid or unauthentic or evil or not really kind but pretend, etc. Well, yeah. Where's the problem with that? If I'm speaking about the average idiot, which, you know, Lord knows the world is fucking full of them, and I'm saying it's because they are inauthentic, and when they pretend, hi, and all this, it's complete bullshit. Just try borrowing a fucking tenner from them. Try to see if you can go around their house and talk about some of your problems and have a cup of tea and all this sort of stuff. I think you'll find 99% of the time that they're not very hospitable. Now, there's a woman that lives opposite me, and goodness me, I've only seen her 3 times in the last 6 months since she's been here. But this evening, I was just going out to the shop, and she was just coming in. And she was fumbling with a fob to get into the electronic door. And I opened the door and I said, I'm psychic, you know, I had a vision that Jane was trying to get in. And she goes, oh, thank you very much, and she's like she's having 10 fucking orgasms. And I'm like, I just said a few fucking words. But because she's so insecure, she's so terrified of having normal conversation, it's all, oh, bye, oh, I'm in such a rush, oh. And, you know, I hear a knock on her door. And then she opens the door, oh, hi, how are you? And I'm like, for fuck's sake, has her long fucking lost brother or fucking estranged mother or something who was living in China for the past 30 fucking years just knocked on her door? Who the fuck could warrant that fucking reception? Oh, I'm so happy to see you. It's bullshit. And I'm sick to the fucking teeth of the stupid cunt in fucking pink ape who is inauthentic. And so, yes, it is their fault for being fucking idiots. Because how many people can just be fucking real? And then when you meet them in the street, they go, how you doing? And they stop, they listen. And they want to see how you're going to engage. They don't just go into some rhetoric, oh, the fucking weather today, oh, my fucking shopping, oh, you know, my fucking knee hurts, oh, me. The nervous fucking energy, because they've got nothing to fucking say. You know, there's one fucking prick in the gym, and he's such a fucking wanker that he's terrified to talk to me now, because it always used to be, oh, how you doing? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, and all this sort of shit. And as soon as I start to inquire, so, well, what do you do then? What do you do as a job? I just, nothing really. Well, I mean, I do a few things. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, okay. Why don't you just say you don't want to fucking tell me? And then I'll say, like, so I saw you cycling towards such and such the other day. So you live over there, do you? Oh, well, I mean, no, well, I mean, where? And I'm like, fucking hell, okay, I get it. And so now he doesn't want to talk to me because I probe and I ask a question, just things like, why are you always chewing gum? You're always chewing gum every fucking time you're in the gym. You know, you must have some fucking memory to always make sure you go to the shop and you got your stock of fucking chewing gum, because you're never without it. So therefore it obviously has to be very important to you, because otherwise if it wasn't important, there'd be lots of occasions that you just wouldn't fucking remember to buy it and you wouldn't have it. But no, it's really, really important. You got it every single fucking time. So you must be very methodical to buy it and make sure you've always bringing it with you. Right? Do you think that's such a bizarre thing to think? You know, to notice in a person. I notice a lot of stuff. And then I was looking at him, and he comes on an electric bike, and he's got knee pads on, he's got elbow pads on, he's got a helmet on, he's got goggles on, he's got a scarf on, he's got gloves on, and he's got a fucking super bright fluorescent fucking coat on. Not only that, he's got fluorescent bicycle clips, the sort that you get free when you pass your cycle proficiency as a child, along with your fluorescent armbands, right? And I'm like, he's 52 years old. What sort of a cunt is this? And I say to him, fucking hell, you look like you're going to war, mate. Yo, you don't know, do you? What do you mean you don't fucking know? You're just cycling to and fucking fro. What do you mean you don't know? Some fucking crazed fucking driver's gonna knock you off the bike. How much do you think these fucking knee pads are gonna protect you in any case if you get hit by a fucking car? What do you mean you don't fucking know? You know, I fell off my fucking bike, I went head over heels. You know, barely had a fucking scratch. In actual fact, I just had a little bit of grit on my palm. You know, because instinctively, what I did, I was cycling down the road and I was fucking looking around at the clouds and that and the other, and I clipped a fucking car wing mirror with the handlebars, and I just went straight over. But in my mind, instantly, what happened is I just went into a roll, and I saw the fucking ground coming, I put my arm down, and I just fucking rolled over, and I ended up back on my feet like a fucking miracle. And people are like, you're alright, and I'm fucking, yeah, no problem at all. You know, so fucking body armour and all this. Cunts. Just fucking cunts, people in the world. And then you can say, oh, well, yeah, stop being so cruel to them. They can do what they want to do. They can do what they want to do. And I can do what the fuck I want to do. When I see cunts like that, I call them cunts. Fucking cycle proficiency, fluorescent fucking bicycle clips. Who the fuck wears bicycle clips these days? And it's not like he's wearing flares from the 70s. He's wearing a tracksuit drain pipe. He doesn't need the fucking bicycle clip to keep his trousers out of the chain. No, he puts them on because you don't know, do you? And it's just that extra bit of fluorescent to be noticed. Oh my goodness, it's fucking, it's just sick. He's sick. And I swear he's this fucking dude that lives with his mother, lived with his mother all his life, never been fucking laid and doesn't have a fucking job and all this sort of thing. So anyway, let's continue. So you bemoan the average person, but say it's their fault. In this case, and reason that it's because they're stupid and inauthentic or evil or not really kind, but pretend. Well, yeah, I think that would fit the vast majority of people. There may be the odd one in there that genuinely is a kind person, but you see, as a philosopher, I ask, what is kind? What the fuck is kind? Is Jane kind? Next door, oh, hi! Oh, what are you doing? Oh. And if I said, Jane, I've been having fucking nightmares. I couldn't come in for a minute. I'm just in my dressing gown. I'm just running the bath and I'm man in my house. I can't imagine her saying, oh, come in. And if I did, it would be, I'm sorry. Oh, that's terrible. You wouldn't get no fucking reasonable thinking out of the bitch. It's not capable. She's ill. She's obviously fucking ill. To give that reaction to everybody, it's kind of, stay away from me. Oh, I'm fucking lunatic, I am. And it's just like, it's just a fucking show and nobody can penetrate that. Nobody can say, Jane, shut the fuck up and just fucking sit down and let's try and have a conversation. Not possible. Not possible, people. Yes, I do bemoan them, the fucking idiots. I've been around the world, people. I've been around the fucking world and I've met a million of these cunts. And in my life, I've been exceedingly disappointed with the lack of authenticity, with the lack of intelligence and any other fucking positive human attribute. I go over the road and I speak to the Indian guys in the fucking shop, right? The other day, I was buying some black pepper, and he says to me, oh, so what you making? And I said, oh, I put the black pepper in my turmeric because you need black pepper with turmeric so the body can absorb the turmeric, because without the black pepper, the turmeric doesn't get absorbed. And so he says, be careful your teeth don't fall out. And I'm, what? And he said there was one baby whose teeth fell out because it was eating turmeric. And I'm like, where do you hear that? Oh yeah, but the baby was small, and so you babies, they lose their. Oh, he said this. He said her teeth fell out, but then they all grew back. And I'm like, hang on. This baby was eating turmeric. How much turmeric? How old was the fucking baby? Who was fucking feeding this fucking? It's like someone was fucking spoon feeding fucking tablespoons of turmeric down this baby, which made her teeth fall out. Well, I've never heard anything like that in my life, but they all grew back. And I'm like, how old was the baby? Oh, small one. I said, well, milk teeth fall out and then the proper teeth go. Oh, yeah. But well, so I'm just saying, be careful. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. What have you got to do to find intelligence? Seriously, people, is it any wonder that I can't suffer these cunts? Just saying stupid fucking shit. Then he says this one to me today. I go in there and I say, oh, I want some lemon juice. And says, oh, what are you cooking again? Because he just likes to talk because he's bored as fuck. And so I tell him while I'm cooking. And he says, oh, I don't eat beef. Because I was making a beef fucking chili. And I don't eat beef. And he's from Sri Lanka. And I'm like, what? Because it's sacred. Cows are sacred in India. And he goes, yeah. And I said, why? And he said, well, because once I watched the TV programme and it said that if you eat a cow, it's like eating your mother. And I'm like, not really. Well, not really, to be fair, mate. Well, it's because the cow gives milk to the baby. And I'm like, well, okay, so it's the baby's mother, it's the calf's mother, it's not your mother. You don't suckle the titty on a fucking cow, you suckle the titty on your mother. Right? So it's not your mother, it's just some fucking stupid, fucking ancient, folklore shit that the Indians have got into, that now the cow is sacred and they can do what they fucking want to do. Well, if you look back thousands of years, you can go, okay, well, the cow was very useful to, millions of starving, impoverished people because it gave life. Milk, they can actually feed their fucking babies when their tits were all fucking dried up with malnutrition because they weren't getting the proper, food and nourishment. Then they could fucking take it from the cow and give it, and so the cow then probably did become mother to babies. I think that's probably where it came from. I'm just applying a rational mind to this fucking shit because there's some sort of logic maybe in some of these things. But why continue it today, thousands of years on? Because they had a TV programme which says the cow's a mother. Oh, and I don't want to eat my mother. I wanted somebody else just to do terrible things to him. I wanted a fucking meteorite. If I could summon a meteorite, I'd just go, meteorite, just fucking, what's the point? Cunts like that. Oh, the point is that he works 12 hours a fucking day in my shop, and he's always there when I want fucking the odd bit of this, that and the other. And they're open from 6 AM till 9 fucking PM. Alright, he's got a purpose. That cunt works for me. And then I justify his existence. I always wondered how you make these sort of vague assessments about things, but only really use your own experience to think about them and say it's about other people. And really it all seems about you making it about them, if that makes sense. As though something blocks something with a sort of resistance. I don't see how someone could ever be whole that way. Perhaps it just so undeveloped it'd be impossible. Perhaps it just so undeveloped it'd be impossible. What would be impossible? To be whole because of what? Because you're thinking a certain way about somebody? Well, you know, let's read this again. Let's investigate what's going on here. I always wondered how you make these sort of vague assessments. Vague assessments. Well, I wouldn't say they're necessarily vague. Sweeping statements. Let's say sweeping statements. Calling the masses fucking idiots. Oh, well, not everybody is an idiot. Some have got PhDs and some are genius and some are, oh yeah, some are like that. Some are like that. Very, very few. But I think if you investigate yourselves and you're well travelled and you speak to a lot of people with a critical mind, then you discover that 99.9% of these idiots are fucking tards. And the only thing they know is what they fucking listen to on the fucking telly. They've never actually had a thought of their own. And so I've always wondered how you make these sort of, well, you might start to be getting your fucking head around it now, fucking Adam Cadman, you know. And how have you always wondered that, and you've never actually made any assessment, you've never actually read between the lines, you've never actually managed to figure out with your own psychology what's going in my psychology. You see, if you were you know, in the same level of consciousness as I am, then you'd go, oh, he's doing it because of this and because of that and because of that, and then it'd all be fucking hunky-dory, you know, you'd know what's going on. But like I'm always saying, I'm so far out in a fucking extended ripple of consciousness that the people in the inner circles, I've got no fucking idea what I'm saying. You know, people, I've had 61 years of global fucking travel and read thousands of books and spent 15 years on YouTube. I've learned a thing or two, and I've done all the psychedelics and all the meditation. I've done a lot of stuff, and I've had an intelligent brain all along the way. So my consciousness is in a different fucking realm that most of you will never ever get to fucking grips with. And so that's something that you can take on board. Well, my consciousness, my intelligence is never going to be able to see into yours because I am cut from a different fucking cloth to you, obviously. You're the awakened brave, after all. I don't see how someone could ever be whole that way. Well, your perception is obviously lacking then, isn't it? And how many times have I told you that, well, my life is very, very whole. I do everything I want to do every single fucking day. Nobody ever tells me what to do. I don't ever have to do anything I don't want to do. And I'm catered for like a bug as snug as in a fucking rug in the fleece of the beast. I've got everything, and I've worked it that way because of my fucking Elon Musk fucking genius in my own fucking way that's emancipated myself 15 years ago, that I will never work again and I will always be catered for. So if that isn't genius, I don't know what is. And I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to be anywhere, I don't have to fucking prove myself to anybody. I just fucking do everything I want to do and thoroughly enjoy myself. And so who can actually say that? Who on the fucking planet can say that? Not many people. And those that can say that aren't the fucking so-called geniuses out there and aren't the wealthy, because they could never ever do it. They've always got to pay trillions and trillions, even just to go on fucking holiday. Like, oh, I was watching the Robbie Williams Netflix thing, and everywhere he went, there's a fucking helicopter in the sky with the press trying to shoot some fucking tit shots of whoever he was with. Just a sick motherfucker world, people. And, you know, he was at the end of his fucking tether. No wonder you got to do all the fucking drugs and get all the addictions under the fucking sun to deal with that shit. Yeah. Continuing, because it's quite a lengthy comment. What value do you think others can expect to take from this method of production in their own lives and the validity of it. Well, I don't know what exactly you mean. What level of production? What do you mean production? You know, if you said, you know, psychological perspective or social assessment or something, I might have a bit of an inkling to what you're saying. But method of production, I mean, fuck's sake. Do you think it helps us knowing a YouTube creator we like thinks his sister and therefore basically everyone is bad because of it? It just always seems quite negative. I don't want to say forced negative, maybe habitual though. The pink ape stuff, elderly should die, all that. I get you. Just poke around and have fun, but don't you think possibly that does stem from your own childhood and lack of emotions? The majority of people do in fact, at least in the more stable and whole way I'm inferring. Hang on, do in fact what? Elderly should die, all that. I get you just poke around and have fun, but don't you think that possibly that does stem from your own childhood and lack of emotions? The majority of people do in fact have, at least in the more stable and whole way I'm referring to. You see, look, this is it, isn't it? I mean, is it me? Or does that just not make sense? I'm not having a go at Adam Cadman per se. This is humanity. This is why I'm always saying the things I'm saying and fucking banging on like I'm saying. Because what the fuck? What the fuck? You can't even communicate with any cunt. Most people can't even fucking write the Queen's English or whatever fucking language you know they're supposed to have learnt, and they can't listen, they can't interpret, they can't decipher you know the appropriate answer to anything. They just regurgitate shit they've heard on fucking CNN or BBC, and it's just a fucking shitfest. You know, good God, people, good God. So I don't know what the fuck you're saying there, Adam Cadman. But what I can say is, but don't you think possibly that does stem from your own childhood? Well, of course, everything stems from our childhood, and that's what I'm always saying to you. You know, free will and all the rest of it, you are your experience. Every fucking day that you've lived and whatever you've gathered along the way with experience or trauma and fucking education and what you've heard on fucking telly and all that sort of stuff, that's all you are, most people. Just automated fucking shitheads with a fucking bunch of crap that they can't make head or fucking tail of. How many of you actually out there are actually psychologists or philosophers and you actually break down all this stuff and you work out what the fuck's going on? Barely a single one of you. I've never heard from any of you, by the way, if you are these sort of people. I've heard from people who are, you know, intelligent and streetwise and put pieces together and look at the world similar to I do. They go, fucking shitfest. Yeah, my fucking parents, this, that and the other, narcissist, blah, blah, blah. Fucking idiots. Yeah, I hear you. I fucking sympathise with you, Aaron. But, you know, very, very few people are actually like that. How is it that they are like that? Because they've travelled a similar sort of path and they've had a similar sort of genetic disposition from the very beginning. They've been gifted with an expanded state of consciousness which has enabled them to see the fucking world in a certain way, rather than wearing fucking blinkers and not seeing nothing or hearing nothing or working any fucking thing out. It's just fucking, from a perspective of somebody has a mind like mine, it's a fucking madhouse. It's just fucking ridiculous. And then I look at what the powers that be do, and then people go, oh, they're doing this to us, and they're doing... You fucking deserve every last thing, you stupid dumb motherfucker. You're dumb as fuck. You would have fucking nothing if it wasn't for them. You know, in the Western world, the whole of the Western world has been built on the power of them. They've been doing it for thousands of fucking years. And if they didn't do it, if they didn't rate the resources from other poorer fucking nations, this, that and the other, then you'd be living in squalor just like every cunt else. But as it happens, in the Western world, you're living like fucking kings. And yet, oh, they're trying to do this to us. You fucking idiots, you cannon fodder. And they can do whatever they fucking want to, and they will. And they always have done. So shut the fuck up. And just be very, very grateful whatever you've got, because you've got the whole fucking lot. So what I'd say, don't ever grumble about any fucking thing. You don't have the right, you don't even have the right for a say, politically or any fucking thing, because you just don't know enough. If you want to have a say about politics, then you need to be a fucking politician, and you need to be a very good one, and you need to be a very learned one, and a very well-read one, and a very articulate one, and then you can fucking, you know, enter that arena. But other than them, the fucking man in the street, they know fuck all what's going on in the world, and they just think like, oh, they're doing this to me. Another example is you use a generalisation of humanity or people not being good or evil through examples of something like, depending on the current timeline, ranging from George Soros, Keir Starmer to your sister, even sometimes random people in shops or the street. Well, of course I use everybody I fucking meet. I can't use people I've never fucking heard of. I can't use you as an example. I don't know you, I don't know nothing about you, but I can use you now. I can use you now, motherfucker. I can use you now, and I can go, well, fucking hell, I can throw you in the fucking pit the same as the rest of them. Because, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You know, I don't know how many videos, I know you've been around a long time, and I'm always saying to people, you should be a whole lot fucking wiser now if you've listened to all these things I've said, but it hasn't penetrated, has it? No, most people are none the fucking wiser 10 years after watching me. They're seriously not, and I can absolutely guarantee that, because I've never ever seen anyone that started off a little bit dumb and now is pretty intelligent and awoke. No, it's always the one that started off smart and they're still fucking smart. That's just how it is. People can't learn this shit. This is just an expanded state of consciousness. You either have it or you fucking don't. And I'm sorry to be so elitist. No, I'm not. You know, it just is what it is. Some people have, you know, fucking brains and they use them. And that's just how it is, and most people don't. And I just tell it how it fucking is. And I just tell you what I see in the world. And of course it's all stemming from my childhood, my experience, my education and everything. Because it comes from me, and I'm looking out at the fucking world and I'm going, well, what the fuck? You know, if I was looking out at people and they've all got great educations and they're all sitting on park benches having philosophical conversations, you know, like in the heyday of fucking Greece and Rome, you know, they're all in their togas and they're philosophizing, you know, with Plato and Socrates and all the rest of them. Well, fuck me, I'd be in my element and I'd be singing the praises of the human being. But as I've never ever met any of those motherfuckers, well, either they were a figment of some people's imagination, or they just don't exist anymore. You know, there's the odd person. You've got people like modern philosophers, a handful of people out there, and literally there's a handful full of people, and they can articulate, they're well read and they're articulate and intelligent and all the rest of it, and you go, that's a proper human being. I mean, we're supposed to be super intelligent and, you know, we've got God consciousness and this, that and the other, but to be fair, people, in my life, most people are just, you know, but probably no more intelligent than pigs. Pigs are supposed to be pretty fucking smart, and to be fair, there's many things that human beings do that just don't have any rational application at all. And like that fucking idiot over the shop talking about fucking a baby's teeth falling out because they're eating too much turmeric. How is this baby eating too much turmeric? Is the mother bottle feeding fucking turmeric down his fucking child? And how is it that they could assess that's the reason why the teeth fell out? And then when you listen, well, it is a fucking 2-year-old or 3-year-old and the teeth are falling out anyway. Well, I mean, doesn't it seem like it's just like one of the things they were eating was turmeric, and then the teeth started to fall out, so well, that's a done deal, that's obviously the reason, without even knowing that, well, everybody's teeth fall out at that age. And so you could say it's fucking pineapple juice or fucking ground apple that fucking did it, but this fucking idiot chose turmeric for whatever reason. Rant, fucking rant. In a sense, it could be linked to thinking of it as a sort of heartlessness. Do you think? Do you think? Is that your final assessment? You think it could be linked to some sort of heartlessness? Look, I tell you in every fucking video, I don't believe in compassion, I don't believe in love, and I don't believe in kindness as actual things. I don't believe in anything as things. Why don't I believe in anything as things? Because there are no things. There's only names, there's only concepts, there's only fucking ideas, and there's only language, and there's only words. There are actually no things. There's no things, people. If you say, oh, there's a thing, Aaron, there's a thing called a glass. Well, what is it called in the rest of the world? It's called a whole billion other things. So is it a fucking glass? Or is just that an idea in your mind? Right, in our particular culture. And what does a glass actually fucking mean? When does a glass become a cup or a beaker or a vase or it's just a concept, isn't it? And it's loosely, you know, if this was this short, it wouldn't be called a glass, it'd be called a fucking tumbler. And so when you're talking about things, there's no things, people. Quantum physics have been telling us that for 120 years. There's no things, there's just fucking ideas. In a sense, it could be likened to thinking of it as a sort of heartlessness, but yet you seem to noticeably have to try to revel in the peace that of that heartlessness. I revel in the peace of that heartlessness. Well, I mean, that's a paradoxical thing, isn't it? You know, even though it doesn't come across as particularly normal or even healthy, or even perhaps something that you don't want to think or believe. If I have an opinion about the idiots and you consider I'm heartless, what of it? What of it? If I'm not bestowing love onto all the nasty verminous fucking pink apes, which why would they generate my respect? Why would I have to waste my energy on respecting them? Why would I have to respect somebody that drives a fucking bus, you know, for 40 years of their life and just gets fatter and fatter and fatter? And all they do every day of their fucking lives, they stop when it's time to fucking stop, they get off the bus, they look into their phone and they have a fag. And they've got the big fucking belly there and they're fucking stupid and fat as fuck and useless. And the only thing they can do is drive a fucking bus in life. Well, what do you want me to think about these people? Oh, it's not their fault. They're all human beings and they're all God's creatures. I don't think like that. First and foremost, I've got no relationship with them being God's creatures. The human being, as far as I'm concerned, is a mutation. It's something that's on the evolutionary fucking chain, you know. If indeed we ever were fucking apes, well, we're in this intermediate stage whereby, you know, one day we're going to get our fucking shit together, but it ain't happening any day soon. And so compassion and kindness and all that, they're all bullshit. They're just social constructs to keep peace, because at our hearts we will hate every fucker. We do hate every fucker because there's all these people in these buildings that, you know, that not a single one of them has ever invited me around their house, except the old lady over the fucking road who invited me in for a cup of tea now and again. But you know, they, oh hi and all this bullshit. And if you try to, you know, engage in an intelligent conversation, it's over. It doesn't even begin. And so what do you want? Compassion and kindness and love everybody. Oh, they're so great. Oh, they're so wonderful. No, they're not. They're a failed species. I'm sorry, but that's how, it's very elitist, but that's how the elite look at them. And I've always said to you people, look, I'm not with the people on the bottom rung of the fucking ladder. Even though I'm fucking, you know, down here with the rest of the motherfuckers, I'm not one of you in my head. I'm one of them. You know, I'm a Klaus Schwab, I'm a Bill Gates, or I'm one of those people that would pull the fucking strings to completely enslave the human being and to fucking have them doing this, that and the other, pretty well exactly like it is now. Because it couldn't be any other way. I just don't believe it could be any other way. The human being is a horrible fucking creature, and all we've got to do is look at certain scenarios and look at certain countries, and as soon as there's a bit of a war going on, then it's a free beautiful, everyone's raping and murdering and fucking stealing, this, that and the other. Very, very quickly, the human being gets back to its default state, and it isn't kind, and it isn't loving, it's self-fucking serving, greedy, murderous, and all the fucking rest of it. So you're delusional. You're in a fantasy world that we should be kind and we should be this and should be that. You're under the auspice and the propaganda of society, because that's what they've fucking told you to do. And that's what they demand of you, because they don't give you the credence of having your own fucking thoughts and knowing what to do in the right circumstance and acting correctly and being honourable. They know that you're not capable of doing that, so they tell you what the fuck to do, and they propagandise you all the time. And then when you're in that, oh, you're saying we're nasty pink apes, that's not kind. But of course, there's quite a lot of people that watch my channel go fucking give it to them, the fucking muppets. I'm sick of the fucking tards. Yes. So I think, to be fair, people, there's more of you that think like that than there is these social shrinking violet cunts, you know, the liberalists, because they're long gone. The Christians and the fucking liberalist idiots and everything, they can't stand, you know, the truth that I'm speaking. They can't bear being around someone like me. It's just too terrifying. It's too harsh. It's too real. They want to live in a fucking candy-coated cotton wool world, and so they'll go and listen to Rupert Spira and any of those fucking numpties that's going to tell them that everyone's in love, it's so beautiful. It's not. It's absolutely fucking not. You need to read more. I think maybe a result of severe trauma and not a very good upbringing, though, could be to blame. So severe trauma in my life and not a very good upbringing. Well, I mean, what do you mean by not a very good upbringing? My early years were traumatic, and I grew up fast. I grew up in an army camp. It was very regimented. My old man had a very high IQ, and there was a big family. There was a lot of shit always going on, and it wasn't the happiest of households. But maybe that's exactly what I needed to put me in good stead. When I left my house at 16 years old and went out into the big world, I knew what it was about. And so I thank every single day I spent in children's homes and under the roof of my old man. At the expense of not loving and being kind, I don't think I'd want to give away a single fucking inch and ounce of what I am today and gain any of that. No thanks, I don't need that. That bullshit that just brings everybody down to controllable fucking blubbering idiots. What I'm asking you people, you look at your kindness. You look at your kindness and ask if it's fucking real. Kindness is walking down the street and giving a $5 or a $10 to everybody you see in a doorway. Kindness is offering shelter. Kindness is seeing homeless people or knowing that there's someone poor, immigrants and this, that and the other, and taking a big fucking hamper of foods that it's not just all this shit that you never bother to eat and you don't want. No, it's proper quality stuff. You've gone to a supermarket and you've bought quality stuff and you go, this is all quality good stuff, and I'm going to give that to them because it's from my heart. Who does it? Who does it? Who's done it? None of you. Not a single one. So don't be fucking telling me about kindness and your bullshit. It's all self-serving, people. If you are kind, it's because you're scared, it's because you want the reciprocity of it, and you want to be thought of in a certain way. It's all about you. You don't give a fuck about anybody else, I'm absolutely positive. Unless it's your fucking young children. And then that's just a natural, instinctive thing. It's nothing to do with your kindness. You do it because you know it's the right thing to do. Kindness. Go fuck yourself, kindness. Crock of fucking shit. So it's actually quite common, though. There are hundreds of thousands of emotionally neglected and abused people. It is interesting here how you communicate to us, the viewer, and the videos you make, though. Your fascination with the unknown and God is very telling, since these mysteries occupy and allow for a detachment in your own personal issues. How can I detach from my personal issues? I am my personal issues, and I exhibit my personal issues. I exhibit my life. I exhibit my education, and I'm always talking to you about my experiences around the world and the books that I've read and the thoughts that I'm having. You know, how is that a detachment? I am what you see. And if you came to live with me, then you wouldn't see anything different. You see exactly what you're getting here now. A completely authentic, full, wholesome person. Now, as far as being kind and this, that and the other, there's very few people that are as kind as me. I've given a great deal of money to many, many people. In my travels all around the world, I've helped people out with a whole bunch of fucking money. And when I've spent time with people, you know, let's just say I go to Thailand or the Philippines or Bulgaria, and I'm acquainted with girls, then, you know, I know they've got no fucking money, and I'll just give them £300, £500, and I'd say, just fucking buy some stuff, you know, buy some stuff, you know, because I had it and I could do it. And there was one day I was walking on the beach in Portugal, and some guy in shorts, and he comes up to me and says, please, he could barely speak any English. He said, I'm hungry, do you have €1? €1? And I'm like, I got my rucksack off, and in my rucksack I used to keep all the fucking coins in there. And on that particular day, I had a bunch of fucking coins like that, and it was heavy on the back anyway. And so I said, hold out your hands like this. And I got my hand in there, and I fucking piled it in, and I piled it in, and he was going wow, 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 wow. And his hands were like that, and he was fucking piled up like that. There must have been about €25 there. And thank you. And he went away like this because he never had any fucking pockets in his shorts. And he went all the way to the fucking supermarket like this, and then he bought whatever he wanted to. And then 2 weeks later I saw him, and he came up to me, thank you, and I'm fucking brother, no problem. And you know, I've done that all over the fucking world. So I am kind. I am the living essence of kindness and fucking love, whatever you want to call that. Respect, reciprocity, and doing the right thing in any given scenario, things like that. But what I do in my videos, I am calling for a response. I'm an agitator, and I'm doing this because I'm exercising my freedom, because no fucker else on the whole planet is doing it. Only the awakened brave is calling his viewers cunts and telling them to fuck off and threatening them with throwing them in the fucking snake pit if they fucking start bigging it up. Well, you know, and just inviting every single one of you. Well, if you've got something to say to the awakened brave, well, let's fucking do it. Who does it? A handful of you fucking do it. And it's never the ones that have got something to say to me, it's the ones that appreciate my intellect and the videos I make, and they want to engage and they want to fucking, you know, pose questions and have a discussion, things like that. Look at all you people, shrinking violet fucking nobodies that, you know, could never ever come on a fucking Google Meet. You just ain't got no balls, you got nothing to say, you got no intelligence, all this sort of stuff. And how many of you proclaim that, oh, I know more than you, and I know this, and I know, and I'm like, well, fucking come on then, fucking come on. What's the big deal? It's 2025, you know, the government knows every fucking thing about you. They even know what the last wank you had, because they're monitoring your fucking porno sites and everything like that. Every single bit of data is being gathered. And so, oh, I can't put my face on social media, I can't say this, oh, what if my boss, or what if my missus, or what, then continue to live like scared cunts. And I've got no respect for it. You're not men and you're not women, you're nothing. You're just products of modern society, little pink fucking shriveled up apes. That's all you are. You want me to respect that? Go fuck yourselves. I do look forward to your uploads. I guess just get weirded out at sometimes by where and what they are arising out of. Well, that's because you don't know where they're arising out of, mate. You know nothing about human psychology, nothing about my psychology. Evidently whatever I said, it hasn't fucking landed with you, otherwise, you know, you would know. And I'm always saying, you know, what we are now is a product of what we have evolved into. We can't be anything else. I can't think your thoughts, and you know, I'm not about to start listening to somebody else and then telling you what other people said. Oh, you know, fucking Sadhguru said this and fucking Muji said that, and I'm my own fucking man. I tell you what my experience is, and it's vastly fucking greater than any of them fucking idiots. I tell you from the fucking heart. I tell you a whole different array of stuff. I'm not just talking about some fucking Indian fucking Upanishads fucking scripture that I've read and preaching that. I'm fucking telling you 6 years of global fucking travel and encounters. That's what I'm giving you. With thousands of fucking books read and hundreds of thousands of videos. That's what you're getting. And of course you're not going to grasp where I'm coming from. You're not going to understand it. It's too deep. It's just too much for you. I grant that. I don't expect any of you to be able to do that. You know, you must have travelled my fucking path if you're going to be getting your head around me. I mean, I guess it makes sense to you because it's your experience of it, but it'd seem for us to get the most out of your videos, our experience would have to be near identical to yours. Well, you just said it exactly. And because it isn't, then you don't know where I'm coming from, or you're not in agreement with the things I said, because you've travelled your fucking path, and you've got your own fucking opinions. And so, you know, don't be looking towards me for the answers of the fucking cosmos. I'm just telling you what my answers are. And because there's no truth, and there's nothing that's fundamental to this cosmos, there is no this and that that's fucking true. Not at all, in any shape or form. It's all human consciousness having a fucking crack, and all of our experiences are different, and our perceptions are different, and our journeys are different, and so our worlds are different. And even what we see in the world is coloured by our world. And a classic example of me calling the fucking idiots. I've been around the world, I've met too many of them. And very, very few smart ones, and so that's coloured my world, and I'm not going back on it, and I'm not having compassion for all the fucking tards that have never done me any favours. They're just all emotionally embroiled and frail and insecure and egotistical, and they're laughable, they're pathetic people. So, like you making sense of your current situation, but never really totally getting to grips or changing it, if that makes sense. Stuck in a sort of perpetual defrag. It's very intriguing from a psychological standpoint, I have to say. Well, what you're seeing is the experience of a human being. And from all the things I say, out of all the videos I've made, there's a lot to glean. And, you know, if I'm speaking to you about my encounters with God, Jesus, and the devil, and angels, and demons, and astral beings, and psychedelic beings, and all that different sorts of stuff, unless you've done any of that, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And you just think I'm talking like a fucking fool. But if you read these greatest of peoples, like fucking anyone that's wrote, like Madame Blavatsky writes about all the spiritual stuff, or Rudolf Steiner, Edgar Cayce, and on and on and on with these people that write about all this stuff, then if you read them, and then you listen to what I say, if you read my fucking book, then you go, oh, well, fuck's sake. So what the Awakened Brave's done is entered into that field of consciousness where those spirits are. Yes, you can enter there. You have to have certain portals, and then you'll enter there. You can do it by psychedelics, you can do it by deep meditation, you can do it by bizarre spiritual experiences, but if you have none of those things, then you never know. And you think that, you know, I'm just talking like a lunatic, and you just think, you know, there's nothing to it, there's no substance to it. And I get the impression that the vast majority of you don't think there's any substance to anything, really, I say, because it doesn't touch you. It doesn't touch you because you need to have a level of experience to be touched by that. And then some of you do. And, you know, I'm not decrying some of you putting your heartfelt comments down, and they're very much appreciated, but they're very far and few between. All you gotta do is read the fucking comments, for goodness sake, and you just go, look, you know what this guy was talking about in this video for an hour and a half, and there's fucking 5 comments or 3 comments, and there's not a single one which addresses anything he was talking about. In actual fact, they just go, where did you get that fucking mural from? Oh, you've got your staffs on the wall. And it's kind of like, I spoke for an hour and a half. There must have been 5 fucking minutes in there that touched you in some shape or form, that would, you know, compel you or inspire you to make a comment. No, that isn't the case, is it? So that all these things, people, they just reiterate how I feel about the masses. And I've said it for fucking years on these channels. Unless, you know, there's some massive change in human consciousness, then it ain't never going to change. So I started with the pervasive bullshit of being sold a ruse. Every fucking video, almost, with this clickbait bullshit, particularly the so-called alternative medias. The so-called alternative medias are cesspools these days. Absolute fucking cesspools. They're going to implode because in no time at all people are going to get so fucking bored with the sensationalizing and the round and round and round with no fucking answers. They're just going to go, I'm not wasting my time anymore. Intelligent people, idiots, will just keep watching it and watching it and watching it forever, and they would never know that they're being drawn in and their energy has been extracted. That's all it's been doing, because when you watch a video and they get a fucking monetization from your viewership, so they are feeding on your life force, and your life force is being fucking wasted because they're not telling you anything of any fucking use, and most of the stuff that you don't know, and even if you didn't know it, you can't prove it, and someone will counter fucking that in the next video. So really there's no point, people. There's no point. And I stated, out of 15 years watching YouTube, this, that and the other, I've learned what a cesspool the human being is and humanity is. But what have I learned? Concrete and you know, definitive? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What I've learned is there is nothing definitive. The human being doesn't know what the fuck it is, it doesn't know where it comes from, it doesn't know where it's going from. It doesn't know the first goddamn thing about what it is. It doesn't even know what enables us to be able to think and rationalise in some of us and this, that and the other. It hasn't got a fucking foggiest what human consciousness is. And then when quantum physicists tell us, well, there's no matter here anyway, well, for fuck's sake, we don't know what consciousness is, there's no matter here anyway, well, fucking hell, that's it then, isn't it? End of story. If there's no matter here, we don't even know what consciousness is, it has to be a fucking dream. Somehow it's a dream in the mind of God, and we're God. Consciousness. You know, that's all. Consciousness is just dreaming shit up. If there's no material, physical matter here, it's just a fucking dream. No different to when we dream when we're supposed to be unconscious. And so, on the premise of that, people, that's why I don't give a fuck about what happens to the world, because it isn't real. I can't see any reality to it. It's just a fiction. And seemingly that consciousness never dies, then consciousness is the only thing that's living, existing, and all the rest of it is just a fantasy. And so what we're doing here, we're just fucking around. We're just fucking around. And so because I have an active mind and expansive consciousness, then, you know, either I'm going to write it down, or I'm going to stand on a soapbox on the fucking street corner, or I'm going to make videos. And so the easiest thing for me is to make videos, and so that's what I do. And so what do? Well, if you enjoy the videos, if you're stimulated by the videos, and if you think you get something out of them, then you continue to watch, don't you? But, you know, at the end of the day, what you've got to realise is we're all projecting. That's all we can do. Nobody's got any truth. Nobody's got any answers. If you look across the board, like I have, and you look at all the big names that have been around for years and years and years and years, and they've got their books and they've got their hypothesis, they've all got the hypothesis. Everyone's got a hypothesis. And no fucker agrees with their hypothesis because they've all got their own hypothesis. And so it's just hypothesis on top of hypothesis on top of hypothesis. And that's all science is. Hypothesis theory, with absolutely nothing concrete at all. And so, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, people? Anyway, Adam Cadman, thank you for your comment. No disrespect, I don't even know who you are. I'm just looking at what you say, and I'm just fucking saying about what I see there. And, you know, you touched on a few points. It's all my psychology. And, you know, what else can I really talk about? Exactly, what else can I talk about? I can't talk about anybody else's psychology. I don't know anybody else's psychology. And I'm not the sort of person that's going to start fucking speculating what other people think, because that's just preposterous. Now and again, I'll tell you a little bit of the content of the book, what other people think, that I respect. and you can buy the book or not. And some people, they mention books to me, and very often I buy them. And you know, we just continue on the journey through life, people. So if any of you have got anything to fucking say about this video, then feel free.